Hello class 11. Today I will be starting with you a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is Jimmy Valentine. Jimmy Valentine is written by O. Henry, and he was a great American short story writer, and he had written many short stories, and one of the most good example that I can give you over here is The Last Leaf. Okay, so that is, I think most of you have read and you know what is the chapter all about. So he was a well-known short story writer. Here I will be teaching you another short story, that is Jimmy Valentine, which is equally famous and important. So without any delay, let's get back to the class. A guard came to the prison shoe shop where Jimmy Valentine was assiduously means carefully and tirelessly stitching uppers, and escorted him to the front office. So it was a prison hall. It was a prison where a warden comes to the shoe shop where Jimmy was actually working or stitching the upper layers of a shoe when he was taken to the front office. There the warden handed Jimmy his pardon, which had been signed that morning by the governor. So there he was handed over the pardon letter that he can leave the prison, and it was signed by the governor. Jimmy took it in a tired kind of a way, as if he is so habituated doing that. He took it in a very tiresome way. He had served nearly 10 months. He had served 10 months over here, and that was a 4-year sentence. For just a 4-year sentence, he had only served 10 months. He had expected to stay only about 3 months. So he expected to stay 3 months in a 4-year sentence, but it dragged and it was 10 months. When a man with many friends on outside, as Jimmy Valentine had, and is received the stir, it's hardly worthwhile to cut his hair. So when a person has got too many friends outside the jail, so nobody can affect him anyhow in the jail. Now Valentine, said the warden, you will go out in the morning. So you will be out in the morning. Brace yourself. Get up and make a man of yourself. Make yourself a man. Get fresh. You are not a bad fellow at heart. You are not a bad fellow by nature. Stop cracking safes. Don't crack safes. Safes means, that locker where, money and all other jewelries are kept. Especially at the bank, and sometimes in the house also some safes are there. And live straight. Live a innocent life. That's what the warden said him. Me, said Jimmy in surprise. Why? I never cracked a safe in my life. Me, you were talking. But I have never cracked a safe, as if nothing has happened. He's a completely different man. Oh no, laughed the warden. He said, no, you have not done anything. Of course not. Let's see now. How was it you happened to get sent up on the Springfield job? And if you have not done anything, how was it that you went there in the Springfield job, the case for which he is in jail right now? Was it because you wouldn't prove an alibi for the fear of compromising somebody in extremely high-toned society? Now, alibi, it means a person who proves the alibi. It means he has proved that when somebody is accusing him to be somewhere else, he had proved that he was not over there, rather he was somewhere, some other place. So he has proved his alibi. So was it because you couldn't get a proper alibi, and that is the reason you were sent here? Or was it simply a case of mean old jury that had it in for you? There's always one or the other with you innocent victims. Or would you want to say that the jury who had announced the sentence for you did not do a right judgment, because the jury might have had a long lost enmity with you? that most of the innocent victims say that, you know, that judge did not give a proper judgment because he had some kind of he was against me, or he was my enemy somehow. So which one of the case you were talking about? Both, as Jimmy said, you know, as Jimmy was mocking, Jimmy interestingly and mockingly said that I never cracked safe. Similar way, the warden is also mocking at him. So he said, "Me," said Jimmy, still blanking virtues. "Why, warden? I never was in the Springfield in my life. I was never there at all." He's totally denying his being over there. "Take him back, Cronin." Another name, he asked. So please take him back. He wouldn't ever you know, admit that he had done something. "And fix him up with the outgoing clothes. And fix him, tell him to wear the clothes that he should wear for going outside. I'll unlock him at 7 in the morning. Open his lock at the 7 and let him come to the ball pen. Better think over my advice, Valentine. It is another place." So he said him that you must think about my advice. Advice of what? To lead a very straight and a happy life, innocent life. At 7:15 on the next morning, Jimmy stood in the warden's outer office. So Jimmy was there. He had on a suit, villainously fitting, ready-made clothes, and a pair of Steve's cookie shoes that state furnishes to his discharged compulsory guests. So he was wearing a shoe that was given by the jail people, and he was also wearing a suit. So that was the clothes that he was wearing. The clerk handed him a railroad ticket, okay, and a $5 bill with which the law expected him to rehabilitate himself into a good citizenship and prosperity. So a ticket was given for him to go back home, and also a $1 note, so that with that he can start up to lead a happy and a good life. The warden gave him a cigar and shook his hand. Valentine 9762 was chronicled on the books. Pardoned by the governor, and Mr. James Valentine walked out into the sunshine. So it was written that discharge, like from hospital how you are discharged. So the names are like their numbers. So the people in jail, the prisoners, they are addressed with the numbers of their clothes. So it was 9762. So he is pardoned by the government, and it was signed. Disregarding the song of the birds and the waving green trees, the smell of the flowers, Jimmy headed straight for a restaurant. So after that, he went and he headed towards the restaurant. Okay. In my next video, I shall continue with the next of the portions of the chapter Jimmy Valentine.